Oscar was a very athletic onion who loved taking adventures on Farmer Joe's wagon. He and the other vegetables would go into town every Saturday for the town's food fair. On their way to town, Oscar would do different tricks even though Farmer Joe asked him not to. Today's trick was to walk across a small thin stick attached to both ends of the wagon while the wagon was moving. Everything was going to plan until the wagon hit a big hole in the ground and Oscar went flying in the air. He was flat on his back, unconscious. He had landed in the fig container. The figs hated the onions. They thought they smelled really bad. To make it worse, Mama Fig would always cry whenever an onion came around. The fig that hated the onions the most was Frankie. Frankie stood over Oscar and waited for him to regain consciousness. Oscar was hurt pretty bad. He had bruises all over him. When he woke up from his fall, he was still seeing stars as the figs made fun of him. Farmer Joe stopped the wagon to make sure everyone was okay. He saw that Oscar was bruised.
Oscar, you're bruised pretty badly,
he said.
I'm going to have to peel back your layers.
The farmer wanted to transform Oscar to make him better. But Oscar had heard stories about how painful it is to have your layers peeled. He closed himself off and ran away as fast as he could. God wants to transform your heart. Open your heart to God. A lot of you are the same way as Oscar. Instead of allowing God to transform your heart, you close yourself off and run away from Him. Instead of running away from God, you need to run towards God. God wants to transform your heart, but in order to do that, you need to open your heart to Him and say, Lord, here I am. Transform my heart. Oscar didn't want that transformation. Farmer Joe usually picked one food to stand next to the Farmer Joe's market display stand to demonstrate the quality of his produce. The following Saturday, Oscar ran to the sign so that he could be on display. This spot was not the easiest spot to stand in though, because it was the hottest place of all. As he stood there in the sun, his condition got worse. He was in severe pain. Oscar knew that if he wanted to get better, he would have to give himself to the farmer to be healed. Finally, after he couldn't bear it any longer, Oscar went to Farmer Joe.
Oh, please, can you help me?
He whimpered.
Of course. All you had to do was ask,
said Farmer Joe. Farmer Joe began to peel back Oscar's layers so that he could get to the source of the pain. He explained to Oscar that once he got to the source of the pain, the healing could take place. A heart that's open to God looks to God for healing. God is waiting to heal you. He's waiting to heal your physical body. He's waiting to heal your emotions. He's waiting to heal your heart. All you have to do is ask. Psalm chapter 147 verse 3 says, He heals the brokenhearted. God wants to take away the hurt that you feel in your heart so that you can have a heart that's free to love, laugh, and enjoy life. A closed heart carries pain around with it, but an open heart looks to God for healing. God may have to peel the layers off like Farmer Joe did for Oscar, but if you let Him, He will make sure you are healed. Once Oscar was healed, he started back up with his old tricks again. This time, he decided that he would jump off the wagon right as it stopped. When the wagon began to put on its brakes, Oscar jumped. He jumped too soon and was nearly crushed by the wagon's wheel. Not only was he covered in mud, he was bruised again. Oscar quickly got up without anyone seeing and jumped back into the wagon. He found something to hide behind so no one would find him. He was afraid to admit his mistake again, but he couldn't hide from everyone. Walter Watermelon and Carol Carrot found him. They pulled him aside and sat him down.
Oscar? Why are you hiding? Is your heart still open to Farmer Joe?
Carol asked, concerned. Oscar felt horrible. He didn't like hiding from Farmer Joe.
Yes, my heart is still open to Farmer Joe,
he replied. He ran to find Farmer Joe as quickly as he could.
I'm so sorry. I'm such a mess. I fell in the mud.
He said sadly. Farmer Joe smiled as he picked Oscar up.
Oscar, as long as you keep coming to me with an open heart, I will always be able to help you.